In the 17th century, the Puritans, a group of unorthodox Christians, emerged politically. In the years to come, they would shape England and North America to create the world we have today. In the early 1600s, the Puritans were a group of Protestants who were restricted from their religious beliefs by the Church of England. This caused discontent with the Puritan Church, and thus they had to stand up to them. The Puritans believed that the Bible was God's law and that it provided a plan for living. They also believed that prayer was the most essential belief. The established Catholic Church described that access to God was to be decided by the authority of the Church. Puritans stripped away the traditions and formalities of Christianity, which had been slowly building throughout the previous 1500 years, allowing them to pray when they wanted. This was an attempt to purify the Church and their own lives. Each separate church was to be responsible to God, as was each person. The Puritan devotion was so great that it controlled their entire society. People of opposing views were asked to leave individual communities. The Puritans were very strict on Scripture, and even though God could forgive anything, they thought that man could forgive only by seeing a change in behavior. The Puritans thought actions spoke louder than words, so actions had to be constantly controlled. The devil was a large part of the Puritans' sermons. Ministers warned of the persuasiveness of the devil's power. The delivery of these sermons became an art form. They were elegant and well-formed scriptures. The priest thought a healthy dose of fear woven throughout the fabric of the literary construction was necessary. Great pains were taken to warn their members, and especially their children, of the dangers of the world. Another contesting point between the Church and the Puritans was predestination, which is when you were born, it was already chosen for you whether you'd go to heaven or not. Predestination caused many Puritans to be constantly working hard to do good for God, because the Puritans believed that your actions in life showed whether you'd be chosen to go to heaven or not. The English Church was much like the Catholics of today, and is called such. The English Church believed that the decisions you made in your life dictated if you would go to heaven. This is a huge disagreeing point and is mainly why the Puritans were so against the English Church. Sadly for the Puritans, the Church was backed by the King of England, and therefore they could do whatever they wanted. So the Church sent soldiers to the homes of Puritans to take their possessions and scare other Puritans into submission. The differences between the Puritans and the Catholic Church were: the Puritans focused more on the Bible and sermon while in church, while Catholics focused on ritual and ceremony during the church service. The Puritans preferred a quicker, more to the point, and direct service, while Catholics preferred a longer service that often lasted all Sunday. The Puritans believed in public knowledge of sins someone commits and severe public punishment, while Catholics believed in forgiveness of sins. The Puritans did not believe in spending a lot of money on the church or paying the priest more than he needs, while Catholics believed in elaborate churches with painted glass windows, silver-lined objects, and rich priests. The Puritans believed that God and Christ are the only holy ones, while Catholics included the Pope with that list. The Puritans only had 2 sacraments, which were holy celebrations with food and people of the church. They had baptism and the celebration of the Lord's Supper. Catholics celebrated 7 sacraments. The Puritans believed in informal prayer at any place or time, while Catholics believed in standard prayer in ritual or at church. The ideas of the Protestants were channeled by John Calvin, a leader and writer of the Reformation. He lived from 1509 to 1564. John Calvin created the system of Calvinism, which included predestination and the absolute sovereignty of God, both of which are ideas supported by the Puritans. The Puritans grew tired of oppression, and as they were abused more and more, they started to leave for the New World. This was to defy the Church of England by moving their religious practice to an area out of their control. This angered the English Church, but they had no power over the New World. In soon-to-be America, they did exactly what the Church didn't want them to do. They converted more people to Puritanism. From there, the Puritans continued to expand with America, spreading their religion. John Winthrop, another leader, was a colonial governor of Massachusetts and believed that the Puritans should stay pure to their beliefs. John Winthrop stood up for the Puritans in Parliament and proposed a petition to them. Although John Winthrop failed, the effort was still given. John Winthrop helped persuade the Puritans to form colonies in the New World and gave the Puritans the idea of being a saint to the New World, creating some of the Puritans' beliefs. By March 1630, 17 ships left London to establish a new colony led by John Winthrop. The Puritans agreed that they would establish a city on a hill, so to speak, an example of good behavior and religious purity for the whole. The Great Migrations of Puritans began in 1629, after the foundation of the Massachusetts Bay Colony, and lasted until 1642, when the English Civil War began. The overwhelming majority of Puritans who immigrated to the Massachusetts Bay Colony were the so-called non-separating Puritans. They hated the practices of the Church of England and refused to be separated from the Puritan Church, as they extremely valued the beliefs of the Church. In December 1634, King Charles I officially restricted immigration to the New World. In 1629 to 1643, almost 21,000 Puritans arrived in the New World. More came still even after the law was created. Puritans developed a religious, social, and politically innovative culture that has had a tremendous impact on the United States. Puritans believed that the new land would become a nation that redeemed them, and so it did. As they grew more prominent, they fueled the ideas of free religion. Later, Thomas Jefferson would write the Virginia Statute for Religious Freedom. This gave people in Virginia the right to choose their religion. This led to the First Amendment, which gave everyone in America the right to free religion, unlike the Catholic Church.